Hello everyone, welcome back. In the last few lectures, we have discussed about classical free electron theory and their success and failures. And after that, we have discussed about quantum free electron theory and their assumptions. In this lecture, I will be discussing about specific heat of electron gas or heat capacity of electron gas. So in this one, I will be discussing about first what is the heat capacity and the specific heat of solids, and what classical free electron theory explains about the specific heat of solids, and where it actually fails, and how does this failure is being corrected in the quantum free electron theory, and how does this quantum free electron theory successfully explain the specific heat of solids, that is electronic contribution of specific heat of solids. Let us start. So first one, what is the heat capacity? So heat capacity is the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a material of mass m by 1 degree centigrade or 1 Kelvin. That means how much is the amount of energy required to rise a material. For example, if you take a material which has a mass, if you rise the temperature by giving heat energy, we are supplying a heat energy to this material. How much is the heat energy required to rise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin? That is called heat capacity. Then what is the specific heat of solids? Yes, it is defined as amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 kg, 1 kilogram of substance by 1 Kelvin is called specific heat of solids. The difference between these two is, here we are taking specifically 1 kilogram and then applying heat energy. We are checking how much is the heat energy is required to rise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade. This is called a specific heat, and then this is the units of this, joule per kg per Kelvin. Now for any solid, for any metal, for example if you take a metal, we have taken a metal, the specific heat, whenever you are applying heat energy, we are applying heat energy. When we are applying heat energy, there are two different ways. The material takes heat energy from external source. That is, one is by the lattice. Lattice means, for example, if you take any metal, the metal is composed of atoms and electrons. Now I am considering all the free electrons, valence electrons are electrons, and then the rest of other things is called lattice. Now the lattice, that means the fixed ions together is called lattice. These fixed ions can absorb the heat energy, can rise the temperature of material by 1 degree centigrade, and also the other contribution is, this is the first contribution, this is second contribution is the free electrons. The free electrons which are roaming around the metal also takes the heat energy from the external source and help to rise the temperature. That means electronic contribution. Electronic contribution. That means the total specific heat of the metal can be written like this way. The total specific heat capacity can be written like this way. The first one is electronic contribution and the second one is lattice contribution. That means the two contributions. So we can write CV, this is the specific heat at constant volume, is equal to CE, that is the specific heat electronic contribution, plus C lattice. So the total specific heat of any metal can be written electronic contribution plus lattice contribution. Out of this, the lattice contribution is already known, that is 3R, where R is universal gas constant. Universal gas constant, which is equal to NA Kb. Avogadro number times the Boltzmann constant. And here the specific heat of electrons is the unknown thing, right? So according to classical theory, how much it is, according to quantum free electron theory, how much it will be, we will see subsequent slides. Now we are discussing the specific heat of metal from electronic contribution from now onwards. Now according to classical free electron theory, this is the energy level diagram. According to classical mechanics, there will be a continuous energy levels will be existing in the metal. That's the reason why there is a full colorful continuously. So these are all continuous energy levels. It is for imagination purpose. However, I am taking some energy levels for representation. These black colors are just some energy levels for the representation. Now we have taken some 6 electrons. Now according to classical free electron theory, all the 6 electrons can be occupied in a single level, or it can be occupied any level, and they all can have an identical energy. That is the assumption made by the Drude and Lagrange. So according to this, now according to equipartition theory, the law of equipartition energy, the average kinetic energy of the free electron is 3 by 2 kT. For example, if you have one electron, for one particular electron, the average energy can be written 3 by 2 kT. This is actually, the electron can move in 3 dimensions, so each dimension is 1 by 2 kT. Electron can move 3 dimensions, so 3 by 2 kT. Now, for example, this is for only for one electron, what is the kinetic energy? But we know 1 kg mole of substance contains, for example, if you take 1 kilomole of substance, we may have Avogadro number of atoms. And for example, if you consider this is a monoatomic material, then we can consider Avogadro number of free electrons will be there in 1 kilomole of substance. So now what will be the total kinetic energy of 1 kilomole of substance? That will be simply 3 by 2 kT into Na. So the average energy of, kinetic energy of 1 kilomole substance is equal to, that means U is equal to 3 by 2 kB into T into Na, because Na number of atoms are there, that means Na number of electrons are there, each one has a 3 by 2 kT, so Na number of electrons will have 3 by 2 kT into Na. So that means this is the kinetic energy of the material. Now how to get the specific heat? Specific heat is simply Cv is equal to du by dt, rate of change of internal energy. That means the differentiation of internal energy with respect to temperature gives the specific heat. Now the Cv is equal to du by dt. Now with respect to d, if you differentiate this one with respect to temperature, then you get 3 by 2 kT Na into Kb. Here Na is a Avogadro number. And Kb is a Boltzmann constant. This is how we got. Now what is the Na into Kb? We can write that as universal gas constant R. So we can write Cv is equal to 3 by 2 into R. This is what we got from classical free electron theory, 3 by 2 into R. So 3 by 2, this is electron contribution, Cv is equal to 3 by 2 R, which is equal to 1.5 into R. However, when we do observe a real experiment, the observed specific heat of solids is from the electronic contribution is of the order of only 0.01 percentage of 3 by 2 R. Normally we got 3 by 2 R, but when we measure experimentally, we got only 0.01 percentage of 3 by 2 R, very small amount than this one. That means there is a discrepancy between the classical free electron theory and the observed value. that is experimental value. That means there is something is wrong. There is so much high amount of specific heat is being observed by using classical free electron theory. This discrepancy can be explained by using quantum free electron theory, that is Sommerfeld free electron theory. Let us see how. As per the quantum free electron theory, we know that the energy levels are discrete. These are all discrete energy levels, and the electrons distribution follows Fermi-Dirac distribution function as well as Fermi-Dirac statistics as well as Pauli's exclusion principle. That is the reason why all the electrons are filled in the energy levels as per the Pauli's exclusion principle. Now, the topmost filled energy level is called Fermi energy level. Below Fermi energy level, all the energy levels are filled, and above Fermi level, all the energy levels are completely vacant. Now, according to quantum free electron theory, this is the main important assumption of the quantum free electron theory, is that not every electron gains energy from the supplied heat. That means when we are supplying heat energy to the material to rise its temperature, not all the electrons takes the heat energy. Only a fraction of electrons, but only those electrons in the levels with our energy kBT of the Fermi energy are only gains energy from the heat energy from the supplied source and get excited to higher energy levels. The meaning of this is the highest energy level. When we give heat energy to this system, what happens? According to classical free electron theory, all the electrons are in the one state, they all get excited. But according to quantum free electron theory, this happens only when we give heat energy only those electrons which are closer to the Fermi level of the order of kBT. kBT means this is the supplied heat energy. Whenever we are giving heat energy, then the heat energy can be written kBT. This is the K is a Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature. This is the heat energy expression. So those electrons which are closer to Fermi level of the order of kBT only excites to higher energy. The others which are below kBT energy from the Fermi level will not be affected by the heat energy. That means only a fraction of electrons which takes the heat energy and goes to higher energy level, not all the electrons. The electrons which are closer to Fermi level of the order of kBT energy only takes energy and go to higher energy levels. Now, according to this one, so the fraction number of electrons which are participated in the process is kBT by EF, where kBT is the given energy, EF is the Fermi energy. kBT is the given energy. So only this much fraction of electrons can be occupied into the highest energy levels, so that they can participate into either conduction process or specific heat process or any other things. Now if you calculate this one at room temperature, for example, the room temperature energy at a T is equal to 300 Kelvin. The energy kBT, if you multiply with the Boltzmann constant with T 300 Kelvin, we get 25 milli electron volts, which is of the order of 0.025 electron volts. This is the room temperature energy, 0.025 electron volts. Normally, let us consider the Fermi energy of some particular metal. Normally, metals will have a Fermi energy of the order of 5 electron volts. I am just taking for a rough estimation. Now, if you substitute these two in this equation, is equal to then 0.025 by 5, which is equal to 0.005 electron volts. And if you wanted to get a percentage, which is equal to, by multiply with 100, which gives us 0.5 electron volt. This is the percentage of electrons. This is the percentage of electrons which will be excited when we give heat energy according to quantum mechanics. Now if you see here, only less than 1%, this is only 0.5. So that means the less than 1% of electrons only absorbs the heat energy when we supply heat energy to the system and participate into the specific heat process. The rest of the electrons will not be participated into the process. But according to classical mechanics, all the 6 electrons in this particular example are taking heat energy and getting excited. But that is not true according to the quantum mechanics. Let us see if it is true or not. If you see, now let us calculate the specific heat of solid, that means internal energy first, then later we will calculate the specific heat of solids using this theory. So now the electron absorbs this much energy, that means this is as per the equipartition energy theorem. So each electron absorbs 3/2 kBT. This is the heat energy which is absorbed by every electron. Now if you have a 1 kilomole of substance, then the kinetic energy is 3/2 kT into Na. This is the each electron absorbs. We are multiplying with Avogadro number. However, there are only kBT by EF. This is the fraction of electrons are only getting excited. So this is the actual fraction of electrons which are getting excited into higher energy states. Now if you take this one, U is equal to, this is the kinetic energy, 3/2 kBT into Na into kBT by EF. This is the fraction of electrons which are excited. That's the reason why I have multiplied this one. Now if you take 3/2 kb square into Na, T into T square by EF. This is the internal energy. Now this is the internal energy we got. However, we need the electronic contribution of specific heat. What is the formula? Cv is equal to du by dt. That means differentiate this internal energy with respect to temperature. So let us differentiate. Temperature. So now du is equal to 3/2 k square Na by EF. All of them are constants. So k square kb square into Na by EF. T square, if you differentiate, this will become 2T into dt. Now if you see here, the 2 will be cancelled. Then bring this dt here, that will be du by dt is equal to 3 k square b. I'm writing kb into kb Na into kbt by EF. I just write k square b into kb. Na is as it is, T by EF. Now if you see this one, 3 kb into Na, that is the universal gas constant R, 3R, kBT by EF. According to quantum calculations, how much we got? That is equal to 0.05. Now if you see this one, it will be 0.015 into R. This is what actually the observed electronic contribution of specific heat. That is 0.01% lesser than 1.5, 3/2 R. If you see here now, Cv electronic contribution is 0.015 or very small. So this is in match with the experimental observation. That is the reason why the specific heat of metals is successfully explained by quantum free electron theory. Now let us write. So this is equal to Cv. Now Cv is equal to 0.015 R. Now let us write the specific heat contribution by both lattice and electronic contribution. If you see here, I'll write this CV, electronic contribution is equal to 3 kb Na kBt by EF. Now if you see here, 3 kb Na EF kb, all of them are constants. Now I will write this into A into T. All of them are constants. I just wrote, instead of all these things, AT. Now if you know the specific heat of lattice contribution is Bt cube. This is the famous T cube law. This is the Debye T cube law, which explains the lattice contribution above Debye temperature. Now the total specific heat CV is equal to CVE plus CVL, which is equal to AT plus Bt cube. This is the total specific heat. Now, if you wanted to draw a graph for this one, what we can do is, if you draw the graph like this way, it look like this way. This is the temperature axis, this is a specific heat, this is a full total specific heat. Now CV is directly proportional to, electronic contribution is directly proportional to temperature, so we get a straight line which is passing through the origin. This is CV electronic contribution, that means AT. Now this is the T cube, so this will be look like this way, Bt cube, which is CV lattice contribution. Now the total, the sum of these two will be look like this way. This is CV, which is equal to AT plus Bt cube. And if you wanted to get alone what is the constant value of A, then we can write this one, CV by T is equal to A plus Bt square. Now if you draw a graph between CV by T versus T square, this is a T square, this is a CV by T, then we get like this way. Here this is the intercept, the intercept gives you the constant A. So in this way we can get the specific heat. So the specific heat by T is equal to A plus Bt square. This is look like Y is equal to mx plus C. So in this way we can explain the specific heat of solids. Now this is how we can explain the specific heat of solids. Now let us see the electrical conductivity of metals by using this theory. Quantum free electron theory could also explain the electrical conductivity of metals. Here I am not deriving all the equations, I am writing the direct equation because of the syllabus constraints. So here the electrical conductivity by using quantum free electron theory look like this way. This is very similar to classical free electron theory. If you see here, n effect, this is the extra, and then tau f, these two are extra terms. N effect means effective number of electrons, effective N effective means effective number of electrons. That means only those particular electrons which are affecting by the application of electric field are N effective. And here tau f, this is the relaxation time, which can be written like tau f is equal to lambda f by velocity. Lambda f is the mean free path of the electrons nearer to the Fermi level, and Vf is the velocity of the electrons at the Fermi level. Now if you see here, the lambda f, that is the mean free path, is actually temperature dependent term. So that is the mean free path is inversely proportional to temperature. Now if we substitute this mean free path into tau f, then tau f is substituted in the electrical conductivity, then what we get? The electrical conductivity is inversely proportional to temperature. Electrical conductivity is inversely proportional to temperature, then obviously the resistivity is directly proportional to temperature. So now we can write the temperature dependent of the resistivity. That means the electrical conductivity and resistivity is also temperature dependent, and we can write the resistivity is m star by n square tau f. That means it can explain the temperature dependence of electrical conductivity by using quantum free electron theory. It could successfully explain. So this is how the quantum free electron theory successfully explains electrical conductivity, specific heat of. Thank you so much.